Hey guys, wanted to come on here give you guys a bit of a vlog as to what's been going on mostly yesterday. As you've seen with one of the videos, we took a trip to Monterey Bay Aquarium yesterday, and as you can tell, I'm still tired even after resting for 8 hours and then taking like another hour nap or something like that. Yeah, it was kind of one of those days. The reason we went to Monterey, basically, if you will, like I said, check something here for a second. But like I said, the reason we went to Monterey yesterday was because it was, well, not actually and officially, but it was to celebrate my nephew's 14th birthday. You see, his actual birthday is on Wednesday. But due to the fact that he starts school tomorrow, he goes back to school tomorrow. He actually starts his first day in high school tomorrow. We had to celebrate it yesterday. And according to my second oldest sister, who is his mother, it was his idea to take the trip down there 2 days before he went back to school. And let's just say it was quite the journey. It's really quite the journey because, one, me and my mom had to get up early. Now, my mom is not usually used to getting up early during her summer breaks, especially on weekends, I should say, unless she has to be somewhere for her job. And sometimes that could be either going to a conference in the Bay Area, whether it's in Livermore where her job is, or Dublin, or Pleasanton, or even Oakland, or even as far as San Jose. And she's not used to getting up that early, and she normally wouldn't make those trips on her own. She would normally meet up with one of her fellow teachers who she's friends with, and she would ride with them. She would ride with them to the event. She would carpool with them anyway, which she does anyhow when they do the house visitations to meet the parents, or to get acquainted with the new kids that are getting in, or reacquainted with the kids they've had previously. So she usually carpools anyway during the first couple of weeks back before kids really start to come in. But yeah, yesterday we got up early. Had to put the pads down for our dog because even though she did her business both ways, right before we left, basically we let her out. We got up and she did her business. Even though she did that, like I said, both ways, we still put the pads down because we didn't want to take any chances. And after that, we got ourselves ready and everything, and we left the house, I would say, just about around 8:15 in the morning, and we went to my older sister's. Now, the schedule plan was to try to get out of the house by 9. That was the scheduled plan, but that didn't happen. We had to wait a little bit for my sister to get ready. We had to wait for my brother-in-law to come back, and with the car which we were taking, which was the Explorer, or the Expedition as they call it. And we had to wait for him to come back because he had to get the tires fixed on it. And honestly, I think we may have saw my I think I may have saw my brother with the Expedition at this auto place a little outside of Patterson, just as you're leaving, not completely out of Patterson, but as you're leaving the city limits and all that, you're going into more country. I think I may have saw him there, and that's maybe where he took his car, the Expedition, to get the tires fixed. Anyway, long story short, we had to wait for him, and then when he finally got back and everything was adjusted and ready to go, we left. Well, of course, my sister had to make sure her two little cats were kept indoors because they used to be her neighbor's cats across the street, and the neighbors, according to her, decided to move back to Hayward, and so she took the cats in. So she's keeping them in right now to make sure nothing happens to them, because she wants them to get adjusted to the surroundings there at her house, because they would be inclined to go back to the other house, if you know what I mean. Anyway, like I said, we went from there, and we hit the highway, and we headed towards, believe it or not, we headed towards Fresno. Yeah. I know that's kind of weird saying, well, why would you go towards Fresno if you are going to Monterey Bay Aquarium? Well, that's just one of the directions to go. It's just one. It's like even though it's like you're going south, you're going to the south. It's one of the one of the alternate directions to get to Monterey Bay. It's just kind of weird travel directions, if you know what I mean. Anyway, we went this way, went to the south, heading towards Fresno. Stopped at Santanella, I think that was the name, Santanella, for breakfast at McDonald's, and then from there we traveled to Monterey. Yeah, we had to make a pit stop, I think, once or twice, and I think it was only, did we have to make a pit stop afterwards? Trying to think. No, I don't think we had to. I don't think we really had to make a pit stop. I don't think we had to make a pit stop after that until we got into Monterey, or at least close to it. We were in Seaside City. So we were in Seaside City, where we had to make one of the last stops before we got there to use the facilities at the 7-Eleven. And then after that, then we went towards Monterey, which is around the corner, I guess you say, to the Monterey Aquarium. And I'll tell you this, getting the tickets online is one thing, and it's easy to do. You don't fight a crowd or anything like that. But I think what Monterey should have done, the aquarium, is what they should have done is they should have basically said that there's going to be a crowd. They should have at least gave some kind of warning that it might be crowded, and it might be more of a crowd on that day, yesterday, than usual, because there was a car show in town, and that's one thing my aunt told me and my family, because I was just posting some pictures while we were traveling, throughout, while we were on the road. And she asked, exactly, about reservations and everything, and stuff like that. And it was during this that she kind of told us that there was a car show going on. Or that her husband, my uncle, had let us know a car show was going on. Anyway, like I said, because of that, and it was really crowded. And if there's one thing that any place, Monterey Bay Aquarium, Disneyland, SeaWorld, wherever, Six Flags Discovery, if there's anything that they should do, honestly, when it comes to people purchasing tickets online or making reservations, is to let them know that there might be other events happening, so it might be a little overcrowded, like parking might be taken up, or just maybe advise people to come another weekend when it's not so packed. The other reason for that as well, excuse me there, is because from what my mom could assume, and I'm sure others that dealt with this going there could assume as well, is there was what's the word I'm looking for? Oh, there was a lot of people going there for, well, not the word I was looking for, but what I was going to say. Like I said, I'm still kind of tired, from this week, from yesterday. But mainly, according to my mom and some other, and I'm sure other people agreed with this, it was basically for a lot of families, and mostly kids, it was the last weekend, the last Saturday off before going to school or back to school. And you can tell that. You can tell it was a combination of the people being in town for the car show, people, just living in the vicinity that like to go to the aquarium on the weekend, and of course the fact that a lot of folks, like our family, had kids, that were going to go back to school tomorrow, wanting to take one last look at the Monterey Bay Aquarium and Monterey Bay as a whole. So, yeah, it was crazy. It was nuts, and it didn't help along the way that there was a lot of traffic. Accidents, road construction, and I think people going into Monterey for the car show and to visit the aquarium, if not both. So it was quite a it was quite a journey to get up there during the day. During the yeah, like it was quite a. What I'm trying to say, and again, I do apologize. I am a little still tired, but like I said, it was quite the journey to go from point A, which was my older sister's house, to point B, which was Monterey Bay Aquarium. And it got to a point that my brother-in-law was like, well, why don't I just drop you guys off and I can find parking space and all that. And my older sister, she told her husband, oh no, you ain't pulling that crap. But unfortunately he did. He found a way to do exactly what he wanted. And what I mean by exactly what he wanted is, in a way, you can kind of tell when people don't want to, do things. They don't want to be part of things and stuff. And I think, for as much, personal problems that my brother-in-law may have at times, my older sister's husband, anxieties, stuff like that, he's had in the past that kind of resurface once in a while here and there. I think he probably figures from his own personal experience that being in the aquarium, on a Saturday, especially on the same day a car show or same weekend a car show is happening, it may not be the best idea, especially for someone like him. So he decided not to do it. My niece's fiance decided not to do it. And my niece's fiance originally wasn't really scheduling to go, but, his band, I guess, their schedule got rescheduled. Basically, their gig, if you will, got rescheduled. So he had free time on his hands, so he was able to go. And the original idea, when my brother-in-law decided he wanted to bow out, I should say, not bulk out, but bow out, was give the ticket to my niece's fiance. But that didn't happen either, because both him and my brother-in-law couldn't find parking, which is why they both dropped us. My brother-in-law dropped me, my older sister, my nephew, my mom off, and my niece's fiance dropped her and their child off, and her son off, his soon-to-be stepson, off as well, because they couldn't find no parking. But eventually they did. They found parking about, I would say, 4 blocks up, if you will, 4 to 6 blocks up at El Toritos. The only problem is there was a catch, and that catch is 2 hours. The first 2 hours free. Every hour after that is $10, which is a cheaper route to go than some of the other options they were looking at. So they went there and parked, but instead of coming into the aquarium, maybe, brother-in-law having the ticket or the fiance having the ticket, instead of coming into the aquarium, they decided to just go to the bar across a little down the ways, the pub, if you will, and have a few drinks and stuff. And that was that. Well, the rest of us, we were able to get into the aquarium, and we had a good time. I'm not denying that. We met up with my second older sister and her family and their son, whose idea it was to be here. We even met up with my oldest nephew and his girlfriend as well, who was there. And like I said, we had a good time. We walked around, as you saw in the video I shared. We walked around, saw some fishes and stuff. And it was really nice. We stopped in the cafe a little bit to, take a break at times. We went outside to catch a breather. I mean, honestly, my mom, the first time me and her went outside, because, it was getting a little, like, confusing for her, because it was also crowded. And basically, my mom's very old school. It's like, if you're going to do a trip like this as a family, you need to stick together as a family. Like, everybody's got to be at the same place at the same time or something like that. Not sprawled about. Anyway, the first time me and my mom went outside, I looked at her, I said, "You just want to be out here for the peace and quiet." And she looks at me, she's like, "You're right, I do." Because, she's getting at that age to where, she, even though she still works with kids, crowds and noises, loud noises, they get to her a lot easier. It's just a way of life. Like, when you get older, certain things are not the same as they used to be. Anyway, we did that, and then we finally met up with everybody. And like I said, we had a good time. Some of us still went our separate ways, because my second older sister and her family got there a little before us, so they were able to see a few things that we got to see moments after, and also get something to eat while we were also looking around. And then, we went again back outside, looked around, and I did some filming, as you saw. We went back outside, I think, another time. We had a violinist, because this is Monterey Bay, San Francisco area. We had a violinist, playing the violin. She played it for my great niece. Well, not specifically my great niece, but obviously, art musicians can notice when it gets the attention of a young child, and all that it got her attention, and she was playing and everything, and she was really good, really, really good. My older sister captured that. If I can get that somehow, I will let you guys know about it. I will show you guys what I'm talking about. Yeah, but my second older sister filmed that. That was really cool. But like I said, we had an overall an okay time. There was no doubt about that. Um, so after that, after we got, after that again, my second older sister and her family was still doing their thing. Me and my older sister, my mom, and my niece, we went and took a break, ate at the cafe. My older sister bought me and her and my niece a Monterey Bay lager beer, which was pretty good. But I can tell they put a little bit of seawater in it, if you will, but it was still good. But after that, again, we met all back up, went to the gift shops and everything. Bought a few things. I bought a nice $22 plush seal for my great niece. Because, hey, she's my great niece. She's a baby. You're going to spoil her. I mean, she's going to get spoiled this Saturday when everybody gets back together for the first time in a year. Just about, for her party. For her first birthday party. So yeah. But anyway, like I said, after that, we all left. We were all finally able to breathe once again, because, believe it or not, we had to wear these. Yeah. You probably saw that on the camera too. And one of the things I got to do there is they have this, like, little face scanner thing where you can put your face right there, and you can choose a filter, very aquatic fish-like filter, if you will, and you get to see it on your face. So I was able to do that along with my older sister. After that, like I said, though, after we got everything done, we caught up with each other, got to see most of, if not all of, what was going on in Monterey Bay Aquarium, and we noticed there were a few things that changed up, as well. There are some things that were shut down because of course, COVID and safety reasons. But besides that, like I said, after we did all that, caught up with everybody, and finally left, we took these off. It's like we had these on, and as soon as we got out of the aquarium finally, after seeing everything, going to the gift shops and all that, we did this. We were like, oh, because it was just exhilarating. If finally have that off. It's just exhilarating to finally remove those. And then, of course, we waited for about an hour afterwards because my second older sister had made reservations at Bubba Gump's, and we ate there, which was kind of cool. Like I said, we ate there. Hold on for a second, I check something. Like I said, we ate there. Like I said, we ate there, and I had what was known as the grilled seafood trio, which was really good. And I also had 2 glasses of tropical breeze, and they gave it, and the way they served it was in a glass that they sell separately, or I guess you could ask for free, or ask to take home and they give you one for free. I don't know. So I had 2 tropical breezes, which were pretty good. It had rum and liquor in there, but mostly it was covered with juices. It had pineapple, orange juice, stuff like that. So I had that. Bought a few souvenirs, if you will. Bought the little kitchen set, apron, pan holders, and all that for my mom. And bought myself the 1975 glass, which was pretty cool. My mom bought a few things as well. Hold on. Like I said, she bought a few things herself for herself and for my oldest sister because her birthday's coming up, and my great niece, her great granddaughter, that is. And after that, we all went our separate ways. Now my oldest nephew and his girlfriend had to leave early because they have headlight problems, so they had to leave before it really got bad. And after they left, like I said, we did the Bubba Gump's thing. We ate there, and sorry about that. Like I said, it's my mom's home, that's why I'm being quiet. But anyway. I'm still tired, so I'm trying to do as best I can with opportunities. She's watching a movie, so you get the idea, right? Alright. But anyway, like I said, we did the Bubba Gump's thing. They obviously had more birthdays than just my nephews, so but they did do their Bubba Gump's birthday song for him as well. And then, much to the surprise of a lot of us, my niece's fiance paid for the entire dinner. Nobody was expecting it. Everybody. Sorry about that, but like I said, nobody was expecting him to do that, but he did. And it was mainly because there was a lot of birthdays he wanted to cover, mainly for not just late last month like mine, and himself, and like I said, not just mine and himself and my second older sister's husband, my brother-in-law, my second older sister's husband, but also for my nephew, my third oldest nephew, who we were celebrating, and then of course in the future, his daughter, which is this weekend, his fiance, my niece.
Does she need to go to the bathroom, Brian?
No.
She's at your door.
Oh, see what I mean? Sorry about that. I have to let my dog in, and again, like I see, told you what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, like I said, he paid for the whole entire thing to cover for birthdays late last month. Mine, his, my second older sister's husband, and then of course my third oldest nephews, who we were celebrating. His fiance, my niece, his daughter, which is coming up. My mother, his soon to be grandmother-in-law, and then of course my older sister, his soon to be mother-in-law, kind of deal. So, like I said, he covered. He basically paid for all of it, which was a surprise because my second older sister was like, "Where's the check? I'm waiting for my check," and that's when he let it be known he had given it to the waitress to basically cover the entire thing. So it was good of him. It was good of him, if you will. I mean, him and my niece. My niece had a bit of a tizzy, if you will, on the way up to Monterey from Modesto. So it was just one of those situations to where he wanted to make good and everything for what happened. I mean, because he's a good guy. He's a good guy. He just, like I say, wanted to make good for what happened. Even though he had a couple of shots, which kind of did his driving for the day in. So my niece had to drive back. And my brother-in-law, my older sister's husband, had a few shots too. And even though he's more acceptable of it and he can basically balance it out with food and stuff, you can kind of tell that combined with him being tired and everything, the trip back was kind of eventful, if you will, because the way he drove sometimes, it felt like, like I said, the way he drove sometimes, it felt like, that, we may have to pull over and my older sister may have to take aim, if you will, because even though she had a few glasses of Chardonnay, she was fine. She was better than usual. I think what it is that when her granddaughter's not around, she's not that bad. She's not that bad. But when she's able just to be herself, relax, just like anybody, she likes to let loose and have a few extra glasses here and there. But anyway, like I said, it was kind of eventful because the way, I think, combined with the fact that he was tired too, and it's about a 2 hour or something drive, back and forth. Well, actually, it was a lot shorter because there was less traffic at night. But just going back anyway, it felt like again he may have to pull over and switch drivers. But thankfully that didn't happen. We did stop back in Santa Nila to get some drinks. Not beer or anything like that, but like a coffee, a Red Bull, and a Mountain Dew, and all, as well as use the facilities. And then after that, we headed home. And what was funny is it dawned on my sister and my mom, because originally me and my mom were thinking, okay, we'll go with my niece because her fiance was going to have a concert or have a gig he had to be part of. But when that got rescheduled and he was free to go, we ended up going with my older sister. And what's funny is we realized, oh wait a minute, well actually they realized that, oh wait a minute, my older sister could have come and got us, you know, on the way there. Like, it would have saved us a little bit of gas on the car. They would have just came down and got us, and then we could have went. So it's just one of those kind of situations where on your way back from somewhere you realize, oh, it would have been a lot easier if we would have done it this way instead of the other way, if you know what I mean. But yeah, overall it was a good time. And of course, when I got home, a couple packages were waiting for me in the mailbox. One was the Street Fighter Cross AEW shirt that my oldest nephew got me. And then of course the Shout Factory package of Transformers the Movie 4K 35th Anniversary Edition, which came a lot sooner than the Amazon one, which I'm kind of surprised. Amazon, you think of, I mean, I still love Amazon. Amazon's a great place. But you would think, being one of the online leaders, if not the online leader in retail, that they would be well stocked, but they weren't. So that was kind of weird. But anyway, I had those waiting for me, and really that was about it. And afterwards, so afterwards I should say, of doing that video, the package opening video, the package opening video of both those packages, and the unpacking of the 35th anniversary of Transformers the movie, as well as editing the video all together, I fell asleep. And this computer here has been on since midnight last night because I never had it on the night prior. The only thing that I think saves it is when it goes into standby mode. Like, it's still operational and you use the mouse to wake it up, but it went into standby mode because of the fact that I was resting. And that's usually a good thing, in the long run. It doesn't really do any damage because I used to work at Walmart. They used to have a lot of the computers in demo mode or on mode, kind of like this, 24/7. And nothing really bad happened to those computers. Same things with the TVs like what I have. They would have them on 24/7, including the 4Ks, and nothing would happen. So, anyway though, yeah, it was quite the trip, and today we just rested and everything. Like I said, I got up, and everything, and uploaded the videos here on my channel, and then afterwards went back to sleep for another hour on the floor because I was tired. And hopefully I'll be okay by tomorrow, and everything will be all right. But anyway, yeah, it was quite the trip. And like I said, the next time we have any content on the weekends that may happen, it may be this weekend, although that's going to be with family. But we'll see exactly. We'll see exactly how it works out. I think the exception when it comes to this kind of stuff is when it takes place in public areas. It's a little bit more easier to share it with you guys, if you will, in a way. But when it's private, like in houses and all that, it's a little bit more different. But anyway, though, guys, I just thought I'd come on here and give you a bit of a vlog of our trip to Monterey Bay Aquarium yesterday. And if any of you went there yesterday on the 7th of August, or August 7th, if you will, 2021, let me know. Comment down below. Let me know what your thoughts on the live chat about the crowd and the car show that was there. Let me know if you guys have tried bubble gums, and if you've tried the grilled seafood trio, and if you've tried the tropical breeze and how you felt about it. Let me know down below. Comment if you like. I'd love to hear from each and every one of you. And I am out. Thank you all for watching.